Hey, hello everybody. Good to see everybody here. We've got our friend and colleague, Dr. Lonnie Love, and we've got good Dr. Kyle Salibi, aka Cyber Kyle, and our buddy MC Neville from AMT. Hey MC, looking good over there.
Hello, bonjour. I am here as Stephen is not. So I'm gonna do my best. Be here
Well,
for
I think it's kind of a reasonable trade-off. What do you guys think?
thanks.
Yeah,
We upscaled for the holidays.
So
Thanks.
we decided that we would just sort of get together. We're just going to have a short one for the month of December. As you can see, we've got our holiday backgrounds up. My favorite, of course, is Lonnie with his elf on the shelf. It's a little spooky there. If we see the arms start to reach out over Lonnie, we're gonna cut this we're gonna cut the podcast short. But I think we're okay. Anyways, we thought we would talk just about a few of our favorite things, because it's the holiday and so forth. So favorite things in manufacturing that we saw that are coming up and the whole bit. And I mean, I'll kick it off. We'll kind of go around just a couple of times. I mean, my favorite thing that's coming up, of course, is next year is what? 2026, which means IMTS in Chicago in September. So we'll see you there. So, but I don't know. So any technology that was really cool, Lonnie, you got something good for us?
Well, yeah. So we just got one of our Velo additive systems running. It's got 8 lasers. Each is 1 kilowatt. This thing is bloody fast. I was years ago. I was like, powder bed is dead. It's too slow. But these powder bed machines are unbelievably fast now. We're doing a vehicle. It's like 11 feet tall. This is for the July 4th, 2025 celebration on the mall. 250th anniversary on the mall. Right. We're printing this vehicle. It's just going to take 6 days. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy fast. Multiple lasers going all over the place. It is wicked cool. So that's my current favorite work thing.
Nice.
What's it?
Nice.
So it's a Strati. You started out with a Strati, and now you're going for the 250th anniversary.
Yeah, and you know what was the hardest part is I actually got approval for an unclassified version of this vehicle. So that was actually harder than the printing, but we're golden. So it'll be in DC on July 4th.
Really?
And Lonnie, how much powder are we talking about in this machine? I mean,
a boatload, man. A boatload. It's like 2 feet in diameter, 2 feet tall each thing. But this is what's cool. So the build chamber is like 2 feet in diameter, 2 feet tall. So you go, Lonnie, how are you going to do a 10-foot vehicle in this? Well, the vehicle is tapered. And so you just nest the sections within each other like a Russian doll, to where when you print it out, you just bring them out, drill tap holes, put it together, you're done. It's wicked cool. Wicked awesome. Cool.
Nice. What material?
Inconel. This has got Inconel 718, and we have another one coming in that hopefully by January, February, we'll be printing aluminum. So it's fun.
But so wait, and what are you printing?
A vehicle.
You're printing an Inconel vehicle.
Not a car, one that flies, and it flies really fast. So
I like that. Okay, and then we'll see it. Now, will you also be out there on the 4th of July?
I don't know. I don't know if you want me out there on the 4th of July. But this is all a part of this big Genesis effort that the White House has, that the government has in terms of AI for manufacturing. So we're moving really fast. This is kind of like the Strati, where we have to be done by March, and we just started 2 weeks ago, and we had the government shutdown on top of that. It was like, I don't know how this is going to work, but this is where these advanced manufacturing technologies are so powerful. Because even if the schedule is getting compressed, because these printers are getting so crazy fast and so little machining is needed, that we can go at a pretty fast clip.
Nice. Cool. All right. Who wants to go next? How about Cyber Kyle?
Oh man. All right. So I've been working on a high school program the last couple months, helping teach high schoolers how to do advanced manufacturing, getting their feet with it.
Oh, I thought Tom was making you go back to high school. You're done. Go back to
You know,
beginning.
it wouldn't put it past him. I mean, of course, right? And we are shipping out a whole boatload of printers and CNCs to about 6 different
Cool.
schools. 3 are operational, and we're going to have a Christmas delivery for 3 more right after the first of the year. So I can't wait to see these students get hands-on on a CNC machine and learn how to make parts.
That's
That's what
wicked.
excites me right now.
So instead of Cyber Kyle, you're Santa Kyle. I love
That's
that.
right. I've
Hey,
got to, I've got to get the voice and the reindeer too. But well, maybe I'll get you to print one of those for me, Lonnie.
Hey, Kyle, I'll tell you what, when we start talking about workforce, doing that, getting kids inspired at the high school level, kudos. That's phenomenal.
The people see CAD CAM systems. Oh, that's kind of cool. The premise of it is they build a race car, like a Pinewood Derby style car, and when they print their first car and they race it, the lights you can see it just pop in the eye. So they're just a great team to work with.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think the other thing that's really cool in terms of workforce development is that whether we're talking the hardware like the machine tools and the robots or the software that comes along with it, it is getting easier and easier to use. So I mean, I think probably most everybody out there in webland, knows all about G-code programming and tool nose radius offsets and things like that. Well, I mean, the reality is with some of these great new tools out there, you don't really have to worry too much about it. And even on programming, and in particular the CNCs, there's a lot of good stuff in terms of digital twin and collision avoidance. So all these hot topics, they're working their way down into the manufacturing facility.
That's cool.
And once again, I think you're going to see a lot of cool stuff when you show up at IMTS. So, MC, what do you got?
I mean, you kind of say, I'm gonna take one from your holiday gift list, and I'm gonna go with IMTS because it's coming up for next year, and as we all know, the technology is changing faster and faster and faster, just as Lonnie is printing his vehicle over there, and so the changes that people will see next year compared to last year is going to be just, I think, hugely, vastly different, and what's possible for not only just job shops, but what's also happening on the here and now, and then aerospace and beyond and all. So I would say that, I'm going to go IMTS.
So MC, on that, is there any new companies coming that you're excited about, that you're like, oh man, I can't believe these people are going to be here?
Oh, geez, you're asking me that? I need to go to exhibitions. I mean, I think what's going to be exciting for IMTS is, the big word AI, that will be apparent. In 2024, obviously automation was everywhere, and that'll continue to be everywhere on the show floor. And then, how AI is working in manufacturing. In assisting, making, shops more efficient. I mean, as we talked about, there's a workforce challenge, and there are a lot of solutions that obviously happen with automation and AI to help fill those roles that there aren't people to do. So I think it's going to be really interesting of seeing how AI is playing out within the different companies, because it's not just one said company that's working with AI, although there is one large one that we know of, but just to see what's everyone doing with it now, and how they're adopting it and going forward, because also it continues to change. So I would say that.
What about you, Tom?
General answer.
Well, I think it's along the same lines, really, and I think a lot of people think about sort of the whole AI stuff, where they're like, oh gosh, super high end, blah blah blah. Maybe it's going there, but I really see it as, I think we've all, well, I'll admit to it. I've crashed a few machines in my lifetime, and you just swap a couple of numbers, you get the decimal place to the wrong spot, and you're like, oh, that was a dumb mistake. I think AI is going to help us to sort of get out of some of these dumb mistakes and so forth. It's just going to, it's going to prevent, I think, just a lot of things that you're like, oh man, I can't believe I missed it, or I can't believe I hit the wrong button there, or whatever. It's just going to be there to help out. And MC, to your point, I think there's going to be some new stuff out there, but I also see some of the regular, the stalwarts over at IMTS. they're starting to incorporate this capability into their systems and so forth. And like I said, in many instances, it's just things that you're just like, oh man, if I only had not hit that button, or if I did it slightly differently and so forth. So I can see where it's not going to be so much AI is going to take over, but it's going to work with you. And it's going to say, hey, do you really want to do this? I mean, think about how when we drive a car, right? If you've got the blind spot detection system, now, I mean, you still look over your shoulder and so forth, but every so often, you look over your shoulder and you still miss the person there. And the blind spot detection system beeps at you. You're like, oh, okay, thank you. And I think that that's really how it's going to come along, and it's going to make things sort of much easier. I think the other thing it's going to do, it's going to enable, I think, a larger portion of our population to sort of get into some of the higher tech fields. So I think in terms of workforce development and so forth and how we're going to move along, it's going to be a better opportunity for not only current generation, but next generation workforce. I think, the last thing I'll just sort of throw in there is I think how we engage in manufacturing and how we work with the machines you're going to start to see some big differences. I think it's going to be just along the lines of, those of you who are old enough to remember punching paper tape and so forth, and getting all the G code that way, and editing and splicing the loops together or cutting out certain parts and so forth. That's of course long gone, but I think many of the practices that we see even today, in another 5 years, they're going to be very different, much more streamlined, much more, much easier to use and so forth. The other thing though is I got to say, I'm looking forward to some of this next generation tooling in these, these new materials that we're making inserts out of. Every time I go to IMTS and I see a higher speed machine tool, it's like, man, could you go much faster? So I think it's just going to be totally awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
I think you said it perfectly, Tom. It's the combination. It's the new and the old, the legacy and the modern. But you have to have both of them. Machining's not going away. We'll change machining a little bit. Maybe we'll help the operator help different ones. But maybe back in the holiday spirit, it's kind of like my Christmas tree. I love some good LED lights. I love being able to change the colors. It's just not the same unless those bubble lights are also on the tree as well. Those old-fashioned bubble lights that are the best part of it.
Well, I mean, I think that there were, well, I don't know, people in the audience, but both of my grandfathers were machinists, and I am sure that some of the rules of thumb and some of the practices they had back then, we're still using today because, boy, they are tried and true. I'm sure that there are several other things that they were doing back then that you're probably thinking, man, what were you thinking? We have much better ways of doing it. So it's going to be quite good. It's going to be quite interesting. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And we're going to be there live. Is that correct? Right? We're going to be there live, everybody.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, hopefully we can get Lonnie back for like a little cameo.
Oh, I think so. Maybe you could fly your super high speed, vehicle in.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. But
There's
yeah,
a
we'll
lot
be
of
there.
space up front.
I'll definitely be there and help however I can. I'm excited. But
Nice.
so Tom, on the whole AI side, I think the phrase I really like are these co-pilots. It's like it's not doing everything for you. It's a co-pilot. It's guiding. It's kind of like your Hey Siri, on your phone. Just provide some. I'm with you 100%. It's not going to take over the world. It's not going to be like, Independence Day or something like that. It's going to be a real tool for you that'll transform how efficient you are doing your job. So I'm excited, and I'm with you. I really get excited with the new starts that come in with creative ideas, but also those tried and true machine tool manufacturers. They have to be competitive, and they're thinking about how they can get a competitive edge by using new tools. And this is just a real good one.
Yep. And I think the other thing when we're talking about some of the new tools, I often think about with our machine tools, hey, I generate the G code and then I download it to my machine and off it goes. And we almost always just think about single direction, always downloading the code to the machine. That's starting to change. Now you're starting to see, and again, you could imagine as it goes on, hey, I've got my tool set station and I'm measuring and updating my offsets on my tools. I can send that information, back, and that's basically my tool wear. So I can start to estimate better, hey, what am I doing with my tooling? When do I need to order new tooling? So I think you're going to also see some of the data coming off of those machines in being used in a little bit different ways than just building control charts and so forth.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, I think it's going to be worth something. I wouldn't put it past, I wouldn't put it past having an opportunity saying, hey, if you let us monitor your machine and, see what's going on, and you let us know what tooling you're using and so forth, we might give you a discount when you buy some tooling from us or something along those lines. So we can start to get a better feel for, what's happening out there. I think it'll work out quite well. So.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I think life is going to be pretty good. We've got some new machines. We certainly have some really big ones. I always like to see the big ones, but there are also some smaller machines that are going to be out there. Some pretty cool stuff in terms of even vibration isolation and so forth. One of the things I saw the other day was our friends over at Mazak with their Swiss machine. That they have the granite composite, is that right, base on there, and it absorbs vibration. And when they were showing me the increase in tool life, just because, look, the machine's not shattering, but just a little bit of vibration, that just beats on the tooling and so forth. So we're going to see some pretty cool stuff where you're going to say, wow, I'm going to be able to get more out of my tooling. I'm going to be able to do a whole lot more. The exciting thing there is those are made right here in the U.S. Very exciting.
I remember Scott Smith talking about that at Oak Ridge. If you can increase the damping on your structure, you can increase your tool life, you can increase your material removal rate. It just helps you out so much. So that's phenomenal.
Well, you remember that's from, years gone by when we had the concrete machine tool. Remember that one?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was fun. Very cool. So what about personal tools? Is there anything that you guys are looking at in terms of that's on my Christmas list?
No, not much on my end. We've downsized, so I don't have a yard anymore and so forth. But my kids, I'm getting all that from my kids now. They're like, oh, we got a house, we got a yard, we need to power this or we need to power that. I tell you, I think the really cool stuff that's coming out now, and this just gets back even into, a lot of production for EVs, electric vehicles and so forth, is everything is battery powered now. It's crazy what they can pack into a battery.
That's where I was going. I mean, I've got one vendor, I won't say who the vendor is, that I buy all their tools, and it's like everything from my impact wrench to my drills to my bandsaw or to my saws, everything. And now even weed eaters and blowers all use the same battery. So I mean, it's like just plug and play. It is, you're right. I think the batteries and the motors are absolutely awesome terms of the tools. Yeah, my chainsaw. The chainsaw is the one that's like, I can't believe, because think about, I've got to carry my gas, I got to carry, or I got an electrical cable I'm slugging all over the place. Man, I love these things.
Well, and you take a look at the lawnmowers. I mean, even the lawnmowers. I was walking by, we were walking around, this past weekend. It was really nice, and somebody was out cutting their lawn with their electric lawnmower. The thing was nice and quiet, and not spewing out smoke, and nice.
See, I think you need that just so you can go over and mow over in Piedmont Park. You get your mower and just you go walking with your wife and mow the yard.
Here's the other thing. I think it's, if you want to take a look at even what's going on there, but it's sort of the same thing. It does link back to what we see going on in manufacturing. But I think we all know about Roombas and sort of the little vacuums that run around your house cleaning things up. Well, they've got versions of it for lawnmowers now. And in fact, actually, those are undergraduate projects several years ago at Georgia Tech, and I was a little concerned that we were letting Georgia Tech undergraduates work on, taking these autonomous robots with big blades spinning around, driving around. And then I found out that they weren't blades. They were the little plastic wires that go with your weed whacker. And so I felt a little bit better about that. But yeah, those are going out there as well. And, by the way, they're using similar technology to what we use on the autonomous mobile robots in our factories and so forth. So, it's not just in a plant. It's not just outside. It's not just your little Roomba running around. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I think those are great because it gets the everyday person used to autonomy, to, automation and advanced technologies. I love it. It's fantastic.
Well, I mean, I have been in plants now, and this is another one. I wonder if we'll see any of this over at IMTS. So I've been at plants, usually you see a conveyor line, let's say moving cars along and so forth. Well, they've replaced the conveyor lines with AMRs, autonomous mobile robots. So you think it's a conveyor line, but it's just a bunch of little robots underneath it. The plant is just an empty shell, and it's got QR codes that the robots can read to know where they are. And if there's a problem with the car, the little autonomous robot pulls the car out of the line, and it just moves out of line. The line closes up, and the rest of them keep going. You work on the car, and when you're done fixing it, you tell it where to go back of the line. The line opens up. The car sticks itself back in. It's amazing.
That's crazy. That is crazy cool.
So
Awesome. It never shuts down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of, they keep going, and then they can adjust the speed. And by the way, and to a certain extent, it's even less expensive than putting in the hard automation. And I remember I was talking with a very good friend of mine who ran manufacturing R&D for a major, U.S. car manufacturer. And she told me, she said, I am looking for the time when I can just reprogram my factory to go from, one vehicle to another. And as I take a look at this thing, you can reprogram your factory to change all of your lines around it the whole bit, and pretty much just download some new software. And by the way, you might do that every few weeks if you wanted to. You could do that. I mean, we're not quite there yet, but all of a sudden, all this hard automation has now become flexible, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Anyways, I am sure we'll see some AMRs at IMTS. And look at all those letters. The AMRs at IMTS from AMT, and it's just fantastic.
Well, you kind of answered it, but I was going to ask you, what about robots? What are you seeing with robotics?
It'll be all over the place.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I was actually talking with some of my colleagues. The humanoid robots are coming along as well, and I suspect what we're going to start to see is, because you say, well, but we just, the arms are pretty good. If you go to a production line, you've got arms and so forth. But the reality is there are a lot of people that are in the plant and they're helping out automation. So you might have a big crane and you've got people underneath moving things around, fine tuning. And that's something where, so number one is, it's a little dangerous because you've got this big crane moving around a 20-ton part, and you've got somebody trying to help out a little bit down at the bottom. And so what if we could get a humanoid, a robot down there that could do that, so they get the human out of harm's way and so forth? That could synchronize. If you think about the crane as sort of the coarse effector, and the humanoid robot is the fine-tuned effector and so forth, just like a human would be, but really working together. I think the humanoid robots are going to come along. They're not going to completely replace our arms and so forth. Not to say that arms dealers aren't going to be in trouble, but a little humor there. But I think that there's going to be a niche there, and I think we're going to start seeing them in there in some of these, what I would say is a little bit more dangerous places, and it's going to be great for the workers as well.
Yeah, and I think that synergy, we started with AI and getting to robotics. I think those come together as well.
Yeah.
And that human, it's not that they're going to, I'm a big believer that much like the co-pilot, these are tools that will be used, that the worker will be able to be using. Not that it's taking away their job, it's just making them more productive. And I think that's what's really exciting, is these emerging technologies such as advanced manufacturing, AI, robotics and automation. All those will come together to make us much more competitive and much more productive, which is good for everybody.
I agree. Well, and look, the reality actually is we're always, you always hear, hey, we don't have enough people to run the machines. We don't have, sort of skilled workforce. Okay. And by the way, our population isn't going up a whole lot, right? So how are we going to solve this? And so I think this is, I don't think it's the solution, but I think it's part of the solution in terms of how we move forward. So cool.
Very cool.
All right. Any last thoughts from anybody? You want to sing Jingle Bells MC or anything like that for us?
You start.
No, it's been a fun year. It's and the next 2026 is going to be even more fun. So really looking forward to seeing what happens, and hope everybody has a great Christmas and happy holidays. And
happy holidays. Thank you all.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
And we'll see everybody next year. Stay safe, everybody.